Good morning and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I'm Razzle11 and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Here to take a look at the pitching for today, the 19th of July. It is Sunday. We do have just an 8-game main slate, which is kind of nice. But it does feel a little small when you look at some of the positions. But we don't need to talk about other positions. We're here to just take a look at pitching for today. This is not really my first look. Slate starts in, as you can see, just over an hour and 20 minutes. A lot of interesting scenarios or situations, but not a ton of slam dunk in my eyes. I will be looking at DraftKings as that is where majority of my action is. If you play in FanDuel, cut my pool in half or so. Pricing isn't quite as tight. You don't have to be as creative. It allows you to get stacks you want with an upper tier-ish pitcher. Let's just jump right in and get this out quick to you guys to kind of help decipher some things. Give you an idea of where I'm looking at this point in the day. Texas Atlanta first game. Evalde's somebody that I always use. He's had a rough stretch at points this season, but then he's had dominant stretches as well. He's kind of in a pretty solid stretch. He has given up some runs. 3 earned runs in 4 out of his last 5 starts. 3+ in, what does it look like, 8 out of the last 9. So that's an issue, but that's coming with a lot of Ks. 9+ strikeouts in 4 straight starts. Walks aren't really a thing. His home run balls have kind of come down a little bit, so that's nice to see. So there's a lot of volatility to this spot, but I think it's a decent spot for upside. Home run rate is better on the road. A lot of his numbers are fairly similar, but I think he's going to be a bit overlooked today, so that's kind of why I'm getting on him. Grant Holmes, not somebody I'm overly interested in. I actually like the Texas bats quite a bit, which is something that you probably haven't heard me say at all this season, or much of the season, because unfortunately they just haven't looked very good. Tampa Bay and Boston, a very interesting spot between pitchers. Sonny Gray, not known for his strikeout ability, has had some recent strikeout upside. The problem is this Tampa Bay squad just does not strike out. Fewest in baseball. Easily the fewest in baseball. He is pitching at home where he's been absolutely phenomenal, but as you can see from a K rate, just 37 strikeouts in over 45 innings of work. I think he's in play. I'm just not really expecting big-time upside. With the way that he's thrown, I do feel like he's probably one of the safer pitchers on the slate. But that comes in, quotation marks really, because is anybody really safe? But his safeness probably doesn't come with a huge ceiling. On the other side, you get Shane McClanahan. He's looked pretty good over the last couple starts. His strikeouts are kind of just they're okay, I guess. Just a few starts with over 5 strikeouts on the season. No walks over his last couple starts, which is good because we've seen him have some big walk performances. Boston's offense has been hotter. They're winning ball games. His fantasy points on the road haven't been super strong, even though his underlying numbers are decent enough for him to have strong starts. The biggest issue is the pitch count thing. 85. He did have a couple 90, but it's really like 70 to 80 is the general range. He did get to pitch into the 7th his last time out. That was 11 days ago, so the extra rest probably helped somebody like McClanahan. I'm going to sprinkle him in because I just can't stop playing Shane McClanahan. Mets, Phillies. Big time upside from Nolan McLean, but there's also big time downside. Needs strikeouts for sure because he can give up some home run balls. Pitching on the road where he's been phenomenal this season. Hasn't faced Philadelphia yet this year, which I found interesting, but he keeps the ball in the yard on the road much better than at home. He avoids walks too. That's been his big issue at home. I'm intrigued by the upside, but they do have some hitters that do walk quite a bit. Uh, so it's definitely a far from safe matchup. He's probably a better GPP play than somebody like Ivalde, if I'm being honest. I mean, I should be honest, but I think that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. Pitt Cleveland, you got Cantillo, Pittsburgh. You know, one of the 3 to 5 most Kable teams in baseball. He has 9 strikeouts in 3 out of his last 5 starts, 7+ in 4 of the last 5. The big issue I have here is walks too. Now he does get the better side of the Pitt lineup. Brandon Lau is not in the game. He has to neutralize Ryan O'Hearn a little bit, but he has to deal more with Esmeralyn Valdez, who destroys left-handed pitching so far. But I think there's plenty of upside for Cantillo. I'm super interested. I like him better than the original projected starter in Tanner Bybee. Paul Skeens on the other side has not been the most Skeens-like season so far. He has struggled a bit on the road. I just think it's such a good spot for him. He still only gives up a home run every 10 innings or so. And the Cleveland lineup is weak enough. Now, obviously, we've been picking on them a lot and with mixed results, but I'm going to play Skeens. Problem is he hasn't had a, over 26 fantasy point performance since the second week in May, where he had him back to back even. So he hasn't been showing the upside. I'm going to go to Skeens just because I believe he rights the ship at some point. And I think it's probably a pretty good lineup for him to try and right the ship against. Baltimore, Houston. Speaking of righting the ship, is Hunter Brown ever going to return? I have to believe yes. Recent starting trends tell me maybe not. I just like the walks increase and then the loss of strikeouts right now is just something that I don't know if he's still really technically injured and he's just trying to pitch through it or what, but I am worried about him, but I am using him today. If you don't want to use him, I wouldn't blame you. I'm going to use him and try to catch that electric start that shows up. The overall Baltimore lineup has struggled enough that I think there's enough upside from Hunter Brown. I just don't. I can't put a whole lot of stock into it. It's really just a sprinkle and hope that he remembers how to pitch. On the other side, Brandon Young. I'm not really interested in Young. I'm sure he's probably be fine. I'm just not getting there on this slate. I'd rather play Cantillo in that price point or price range. San Diego, Kansas City. I'm not interested in either pitcher. I did debate Noah Cameron. He's looked decent the last 2 starts from a fantasy point perspective. He gave up 5 runs last time out, but still struck out 9. 16 strikeouts over the last 2 starts. Has shown these stretches before, 29, 29, 26, roughly, nearly 30, really. So he has the ability. He's gone for 100 plus pitches in 4 out of his last 5 starts, 5 out of his last 7. So they're allowing him to pitch deep or throw a lot of pitches. Doesn't necessarily mean he's pitching deep. 5 innings, 5 innings, 5 innings, and then 7. If you wanted to go with Cameron against San Diego because they've struggled so much offensively, I would not blame you. I am just not getting there against them. German Marquez, I'm not considering Marquez at all. No thanks. Miami, Milwaukee. Interesting pitching matchup. Yuri Perez shows dominant stuff, and then he can kind of fall apart here and there. Wasn't terrible last time out. A few more base runners than we like to see. But he's definitely capable of racking up strikeouts. Now, the Milwaukee team is not really one I like to use right-handed pitching against, but he did dominate them the first time he faced them. He is pitching on the road where he's definitely been worse from a fantasy point perspective. But his K numbers jump up when on the road, but also so do his walks. So he probably tries to rack up strikeouts more. His hits go down. Excuse me, something to pay attention to. I'm going to use some Yuri Perez just because I believe in his upside. On the other side, Robert Gasser, somebody I definitely considered for a little bit this morning. It's another one of those guys I don't think I blame you if you wanted to go with. I'm not getting there. The Miami lineup has struggled enough leading into the break and then coming out of the break. Problem is, I just don't really like left-handed pitching against Miami much. I think Otto Lopez, Heriberto Hernandez are a very potent combination. And Gosser, he has enough upside. He just hasn't shown gigantic upside, especially from a strikeout perspective. So I feel decent about passing on him. Part of that is because I feel like pitching in this game in Wrigley is in a great spot. Wind blowing in, pretty decent pitching weather for them. And Shota, with wind blowing in Wrigley, his stuff plays up even better because he is such a fly ball guy. He does get ground balls too, but like his fly balls lead to home runs, especially when wind's blowing out. We see a bunch of these big home run total games. I'm getting to Shota, even though I'm a Twins fan, and obviously they score runs. He just has this home run issue at home, 13 of them in 64 innings. Pretty much the same rate as I guess on the road by the looks of it. But he just gives up more base runners, more hits when at home. But like I said, I'm liking the pitching in the game because of the wind blowing in. The other side, Zebby Matthews. Big upside, right? We saw him do it against Houston a few starts ago. But the floor is pretty low. He's not some lock because he does walk guys. Home run issues have been a thing for him as well. But obviously, wind can negate that scenario. He's been worse on the road. But I think some of his underlying numbers are showing some positive regression potential. It's really the home run ball that's gotten him on the road. 10 and 35 road innings. Average against it just 257, so just slightly higher than what it is at home. His K rate on the road is much stronger too. I just think there's some positive regression in Zebby, but he is super volatile against that Chicago Cubs lineup. But there we have it. There's a first look at the pitching options on the slate. If you enjoyed what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on. Get the alert anytime we drop videos here at TFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc., there will be a link in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's R-A-Z, for 10% off monthly on an MLB package. Or Best Ball 2026 gets you 20% off any NFL or VIP Core 4 membership. And the Core 4 does include baseball. Best of luck, everybody.